So now let's talk about kind of like the core services, the voice services which ride across that MPLS network. And again, kind of like, I think about this in three kind of like ways. Firstly, kind of like you have to take a customized approach. There is no one right answer for a customer. You have to approach this as a migration. You have to look at a customer who may make a kind of like a year-long or a 2-year migration to IP communications, to cloud-based communications. You cannot walk in and rip and replace everything that they have installed today. That very rarely happens. It does happen. It does happen sometimes. It typically happens in relation to a corporate acquisition or divestiture where they're forced at a certain period to separate or acquire a company. But typically it's very much a migration type of sell. And then the third element is to be able to enable that migration, you need a full portfolio of services. People think of Smoothstone, and typically when I ask like our partners or I ask industry analysts what they think of Smoothstone, they'll tell them, well, it's a hosted voice company, it's a hosted PBX company. It's just a part of what we do. Really, at the kind of like at the heart of Smoothstone, underlying Smoothstone, what is the core of our services is a cloud-based architecture. It's a classic cloud-based architecture which has infinite scale and the capacity of calls and traffic which flow through that architecture, infinite scale in number of users in support, which is highly segmented between each individual user. At the top of the architecture is really what is Smoothstone's core intellectual property. It's a platform called MARCS, a Master Authentication and Routing Control System, which is taking every bit and byte of data coming into the platform and routing it appropriately as it goes through that platform. It could be routed through any one of a number of kind of like highly distributed applications. Those applications could be call recording, could be fax service, a collaboration service, could be a conferencing service, but that traffic is routed through the appropriate applications, and then that traffic is passed out to its endpoint through a variety of what we call feature controllers. This could be BroadSoft, it could be a Cisco platform. It really depends what that endpoint is. So we look at all traffic coming in and how it's routed. We touch it through the applications it needs to touch, and then we look at the endpoint it has to be delivered to determine which part of the feature control layer it goes through. So it's not kind of like a standard approach of delivering hosted PBX services. Most hosted PBX services consist of a single architecture, a single platform, which is in a shared environment. This looks a little different. When you have this type of platform, what you're basically saying is, well, my cloud services are really things like unified dialing plans, being able to provide 4-digit dialing across 8,000 rate centers. My cloud-based services are call routing, being able to take any incoming call, route it to any node on the network anywhere. It's about voicemail and call recording and kind of like business continuity and disaster recovery services. It's about reporting services. All of these are the cloud-based services. The PBX is not the cloud-based thing. It's all the kind of like intelligence of routing calls through the platform to their endpoints, which are the cloud-based services. And when you look at the delivery methods to a customer, to enable a migration to a true IP communications platform, you have to look at multiple endpoint delivery methods. It could be a PRI, integrated access, TDM trunk to a Mitel platform. It could be SIP trunking to a VIA platform. It could be a hosted PBX platform. It could be an IP-Centrix type of setup. It could be a virtual office. It could be remote workers and mobile workers. Or increasingly, it's this device that we all carry in our pocket, and the client device which sits on here, which turns this into my Smoothstone extension. Allows me to set my call handling rules, allows me to dial out with my office personality, allows me to access visual voicemail from my mobile phone. For most companies, it's about kind of like accessing their corporate dialing plans and corporate access plans with Smoothstone to cut down on mobile expenditure. But really, if you want to help a customer migrate to an IP communications platform, you have to be able to do all of these things. Most of our customers will take at least 2 or 3 of those delivery methods, rather than just thinking of us as the hosted PBX platform.